Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to Albuquerque for Badger Breakdown. I'm Mike Lucas for UWBadgers.com, joined by Matt Lepay, the voice of the Badgers. For the third consecutive year, the Badgers have knocked off the number 13 seed, not the number 14 seed, as I said the other day, but the number 13 seed, in advancing now to a third-round game against Vanderbilt. You have to like the way they handled that first game, Matt.
Yeah, that's the thing, Mike. I was just going to say I liked how they went about winning the game. They came out and made shots early. So did Montana, to the credit of the Grizzlies. But Wisconsin kept making shots. Ryan Evans got them going early. Jordan Taylor, almost the equivalent of pitching a perfect game the way he played. And I really liked the way the Badgers defended in the second half. Montana struggled, and it showed, I think, as the game wore on.
Now, that was an entirely different challenge than what awaits them next. Wisconsin far more physical than Montana. That will not be the case with Vandy.
No, this is a good team, obviously, that has beaten Kentucky and could have, arguably should have beaten Kentucky one other time. A really big in Esteli, Festus Esteli, but as we've talked here in recent weeks, Jared Berggren has gone up against a lot of well-known bigs and has fared well more often than not. This will be a heck of a test for him on Saturday. The two guard, especially Jenkins, his ability to shoot the ball. You'll hear the national guys say he's the prettiest shooter in college basketball, and when you're better than 45% from three-point range, that's probably hard to argue with.
Think about some of the guards the Badgers have seen in the big dance. You go back to Curry and then Pullen last year, and now Jenkins, who I think might be better than the other two.
Yeah, at least the way he's playing right now. I mean, he was very pivotal in the game against Harvard. It was interesting. Harvard made a late run. That game got interesting. Vanderbilt seemed to have that thing in complete control. Harvard makes a run late, but Jenkins scores, hit a lot of threes, was very effective at the free throw line. Jeffrey Taylor also very good. It's interesting, though, when you look at Vanderbilt and you look at Jenkins specifically, he will attempt nearly 9 shots from three-point range per game. That's just three-point range, and he makes a lot of them.
He stretches the defense, though, because you have to respect the arc. Taylor is also very efficient at the arc.
Yeah, he is. That's the thing about Vanderbilt. It shoots, actually, on average, one more three-point attempt than Wisconsin per game. A lot's been made about the Badgers relying on the three a lot. Obviously, they made it at a very high clip against Montana. Vanderbilt is similar. I know. Talking with Gary Close, as we both have, he wonders how in the world have they lost 10 games. Now, in fairness, they went through some injuries. There was also an NCAA issue with the Steely early in the year, but he was also battling tender knees, plural, both knees. They had a couple other guys in and out of the lineup, but now they're healthy, they're whole, and they're playing very well.
I thought one of the positive developments in the win over Montana was that Mike Brusewitz and Ben Brust scored. They needed to see the ball going through the bottom of the net.
Yeah, well, it was kind of nice to talk to the Bruiser after the game, and he was smiling, right? He didn't have to say, boy, I hope I can make a shot. And after he made that first three, it was an important one also, by the way, but you could sense some relief, big smile on his face. And the second three he made, he got a friendly bounce, which we've talked about. That's a good sign, too, and Ben Brust as well. Stat sheet only shows you so much, but I think I agree with you. The fact that they both, especially with Mike, to hit one from long range and to stop that streak that he had of misfires, I think can be very important tomorrow.
I think back to last year's game in the second round against Kansas State, how the Badgers got really good effort from everybody they put on the floor, and I think that's going to have to be the formula again against Vandy.
That game last year was one of the better games I think we've seen, and there have been a lot of games to choose from, but that one makes the short list. And I think it's been a key, Mike, with this Badger team. There will be days or nights where Taylor's going to have to be Taylor and take over, but I think what's allowed these guys to look pretty good lately is they've been getting more balance. Obviously, Evans yesterday, as we talked during the game, Josh Gosser hit some shots in that first half. That too was very important. So the focus, I'm sure, with Vanderbilt is going to be on Jordan Taylor, but you just hope for Wisconsin's sake it's a little bit of pick your poison, because with Brusewitz, Gosser, Brust, Rob Wilson coming off the bench, maybe there are multiple players who could hurt Vanderbilt.
It's not always automatic that a team gets a second game in this tournament, though it's become that under Bo Ryan. 10 out of the 11 years, they've won that opener, and that's important.
I think at times, too, Mike, it gets a little underrated inside the state of Wisconsin, but you talk to people elsewhere, national people, or just folks representing other schools, they marvel at it. You're 10-1 in your first round under Bo Ryan. That's pretty good, round of 32. They want to keep going, make no mistake about it, but that's another example of their sustained success.
For Matt Lepay, I'm Mike Lucas. Thanks for watching Badger Breakdown on UWBadgers.com.